Hi, let's demystify this coordinate geometry question from UTME 2011. It says find the equation of the line perpendicular to line 2y equal to 5x plus 4, which passes through the point 4, 2. So here we're required to find the equation of a line that is perpendicular to this line and passes through this point. Now, what we are just required to do is use the general form for equation of a line that passes through a point. Okay, and the equation of a line that passes through a point, let's just say x1 y1 is given by y minus y1 equal to m into x minus x1, where x1 y1 is represent the point where the line passes through, and then m is the gradient of the line. Okay, now for this problem, let's just call the gradient of the line that we are going to be using to get our equation, let's call this m1. Mind you, the equation we're required to find is just going to be this, but we just need to get the value of x1, y1, and m1, and then rearrange the equation to look like what we have in the options here. Okay, so now we already have x1 and y1 according to the question. Okay, this is the point where the line passes through, so our x1 represents 4, is equal to 4, and our y1 is equal to 2. Okay, so we're fine with x1, y1. So we need m1, which is the gradient of the line, to be able to get our equation. So how do we get the gradient of the line m1? Now note in the question they said that the line that we're looking for, that's the equation of the line that we're required to find, is perpendicular to this line. Okay, now there's a relationship between two lines that are perpendicular. When two lines are perpendicular, the gradient of one is equal to the negative inverse of the other one. So the gradient of the line that we're about to get, or that we're trying to get, is m1. Since it is perpendicular to this line, it means that, so we can just say let the gradient of this line that is given, this particular one that is given, let the gradient of this line be m2, since the gradient of the one we are looking for is m1. So in that case, the relationship between the two of them would be that m1 is equal to minus 1 over m2. So when two lines are perpendicular, this is the relationship between their gradients. Okay, so in this case now, we need, because this is what we need, m1, we need to know what m2 is. Now to find what m2 is, remember m2 is the gradient of this given line, we would need to do something to this equation to be able to get the gradient. And how do you get the gradient from a given line, a given equation? It is to put it in the gradient intercept form. It makes it a lot easier for you to know what the gradient is. So what is the gradient intercept form, by the way? When you have an equation of a straight line in this form, y equal to mx plus c, we call this the gradient intercept form, where m is the gradient, c is the intercept, the y-intercept. So for this case, we're not really concerned about this for now, but this is the form that it should take. So we would have to arrange this equation to look like this so that we can get the gradient that we're looking for, so which is m2 in this case, this gradient. So I'll arrange this. So let's write it out first. So I have 2y is equal to 5x plus 4. Now I'll just divide through by 2 to make y the subject, so it will look like this. So if I divide this by 2, I have y. If I divide this by 2, I'll have 5x over 2. If I divide 4 by 2, I'll have 2. Okay, now it is in this form. So you can clearly see that the coefficient of x here, which is m, which represents the gradient, in this case is 5 over 2. So it means that our m2 from the given equation is 5 over 2. Okay, so we now go back to this equation, this relationship, to get our m1. So our m1 will now be equal to minus 1 over, sorry, let me just I'm still trying to get used to writing with this, so let's wipe this off. Okay, all right, so minus 1 over m2 now, which we've gotten as 5 over 2, to be 5 over 2. Okay, so we need to work on this. You know how to deal with this. Just reciprocate this fraction and you have your m1. So therefore our m1 will now be equal to minus 2 over 5. Okay, so now that we have our m1, we have everything we need to get the equation of the line that is perpendicular to this line and passes through this point. Remember, this is the equation that we were trying to get, or the parameters in the equation that we're trying to get: x1, y1, which we got here, and then m1, which we just finally got. So we just put them in there and then rearrange. So we have now that y minus y1, which is 2, is equal to m1, which is minus 2 over 5 into x minus x1, which is 4. Okay, so at this point, you see it doesn't look anything like what we have in the options, so we need to arrange it to look like what we have in the options. So we're just going to, so we're just going to simplify this. So we have 5 as a denominator here, so to clear this denominator, we'll just multiply it through by 5. So we'd have 5y, multiply this by 5, you have 10, equal to, multiply this by 5, you just have minus 2 left, into x minus 4. Remember, you're not to use the 5 to multiply what is inside here. Okay, that's not necessary, because the relationship between this, they are multiplying, so this is like a single term. Okay, in this case, so you just multiply this by 5. All right, so that clears up the 5, and then we just go ahead and simplify this again. So we have 5y minus 10 equal to, I open up this bracket, I'll have minus 2x plus 8. Okay, and then I'll move my x over to the side. Now we have everything on one side and the other side is just 0, so we'll move everything to this left hand side. So we'll have 5y, I'll put the x close to it, so I have that will become plus 2x, and then minus 10, and then I'll bring this over to becomes minus 8, equal to 0. Okay, so at this point we have 5y plus 2x, minus 10 minus 8 is minus 18, equal to 0. Okay, so you can clearly see that the correct answer would be B, 5y plus 2x minus 18 equal to 0. So this is the equation of a line that is perpendicular to this line and passes through this point. Okay, now if you don't have the basic knowledge or understanding of coordinate geometry, there'll be a video popping up a screen at this corner. You could just click, it will take you to a video where I demystified the whole topic